The Leica M6, black or silver? Both are so iconic and part of the M design series. Although it may be a tough decision for some, in theory, they both perform exactly the same practically. The only real difference is obviously the aesthetics. So which one's right for you? Over the years, the Leica M6 has been used by some of the greats. Each of them had their own unique style, but captured memories and moments that we look back on, and that's almost how we now remember history. However, in this day and age, those photographers are simply legend who have paved the way. Now us photographers look at the modern day creators, and I thought it'd be a useful exercise to show you which photographers use which design. Kenny Kung, Matt Osborne, Dan Rubin, Caleb from Bad Flashes, one of the most popular Leica users of our generation, Joe Greer, and my final YouTube channel that I watch, the Black Leica M6, is Pushing Film. And that channel also talks about how you scan film at home and the best accessories to buy. If you're lucky, like Paulie B or Chris Chu, you have both. Put multiple different film stocks in, different lenses. It's like having a Ferrari and a Lamborghini. You don't really need to choose. YouTube channels that I follow that use the silver Leica is Grainy Days. And the final one being GX Ace. His videos are unbelievable. They're incredibly cinematic. The color grading, sound design, everything that goes into it. It's like you're watching a full cinematic movie. It's beautiful. So we've talked about how these cameras are practically completely the same. I feel a good place to start is their weight. They're almost identical. I have weighed them, and as you can see here, the silver one is heavier. However, Grainy Days and Bad Flashes have done their own extremely thorough test.
We also decided to do a totally unbiased drunk test of which Leica is heavier, the standard M6 or the titanium M6.
This one's heavier.
This one's heavier?
Yeah.
This is mine. Okay, hands out. This one.
Both cameras hold their value incredibly well. If I had to point to one that holds it slightly better, it seems to be the black Leica M6. However, I have seen the silver M6 for quite a lot, and I think that you can be thrown off because the black one was re-released in 2022, which means not only is it brand new, but it's also in extremely good condition for cameras that are now pretty old. But in general, you're roughly going to find them at the same price, and that may be anywhere between £2,300 to £3,000, unless obviously you're going for the new one, which can go anything up to £5,000.
I thought we'd mix it up a bit. You can customize these cameras, of course, a lot of people do. A lot of people get rid of the red logo, make it a bit more inconspicuous. But if you do ever get them serviced by Leica, they will put these red dots back on. I don't know how I feel about that. It's your own camera, you can kind of do with what you want, right? They want to make sure their branding is on point. So both of these cameras have this beautiful leather finish, which of course you can also change to something a bit more funky, put some sort of crocodile leather on it, whatever you want to do, wherever you are in the world. Maybe some Aussies do that. The other thing I've noticed, there's a lot of inconsistencies between all the M6s that I've ever seen. They'll have slightly different feedback on the way it comes back, slightly different sounds. That is a bit harder to drag. It's a slightly more clunky sound. And I think that this one is about 3 years older, so maybe that's why, and also it's definitely been used a little bit more. The dials on the back, they change a little bit over time, they get a bit easier to move. This one's definitely a lot more rigid than my other one here, but they are identical as always. They both have TTL written on the top, as this is the TTL version. They also have their serial number, which you can find on the top of any Leica M6. This is where you show your frame line. So naturally, this is going to show you a 35mm, because of the 0.72 magnifier, and you can push that into 50 and 75. This is where you have your batteries, which is going to be for your light metering, and you just pop that in there, and that will fit on any of them, so I could swap them over. This one has exactly the same, although it's a bit dark in this room. Don't have the perfect lighting. You also then have the release here, which is where you will press that in, and you will open up. That's the inside. It's quite odd when you open up these and you see that there's no sensor in it. It doesn't have one. So yeah, thought I'd just mix it up for a second.
The black Leica M6's discreet appearance is well suited for street photography and documentary work, where the silver one may attract more unwanted attention. However, over time, that black finish is likely to fade, whereas the silver tends to be a lot more sturdy and harder to scratch. Looking at this, there is something so classic about it. And I know it's got a Voigtlander lens on rather than a Leica, and so people will be thinking, oh, I'd rather that one. Or maybe they think, I prefer the Voigtlander lenses. But This has just got such a lovely look about it. I mean, they both have. That's why they're classic. It's why they're so popular. And it's not just the quality of the photos. But I would say that the majority of people base their decision off two main factors. One, which lenses and accessories they want to pair with the body. I know that there are people that have paired silver and silver, silver and black, and vice versa with the black one. And actually, I don't really think that there is a look. I think that often people want the look, but it's like fashion, you'll end up changing it, or a haircut, you get bored of it being too short, so you'll get it longer next time. And I think that actually, over time, you'll start to establish what feels right for you. It might not be right when you first get that lens camera combo. However, often you need to see it first before you can actually really want it. And here are a couple of photos where you can see different Leica bodies and lens options. And the second key factor to make you decide which one of these you want is probably who has influenced you most with either their body of work or their personality. Now remember, there is no wrong decision. No one can look at a photo and tell you if it was taken by a silver M6 or a black M6. But if you're thinking about getting a Leica M6 or thinking about getting into film photography, do it. It is so fun and so incredibly rewarding. I talked a couple of episodes ago about making a bad coffee. If you enjoy the process of that coffee and it takes 5-10 minutes and you watch it drip through a filter or whatever it is, it doesn't really matter about the taste at the end of the day, because the process is the fun bit. And that's the same with analog photography. The process is the fun bit. Digital, there will always be a place in everyone's heart for digital photography. We're so blessed and lucky to have it. I mean, we're lucky to have everyone having a camera on their iPhone, because it means that we can document history so easily. Nothing is ever missed. But if you're watching this video, it's probably because you're already interested in the Leica ecosystem. And I'm hoping this video has been useful and sways you to one or the other. I started with the Leica QT monochrome, and as they said, it's the gateway drug. And it really was. I went straight from there to buying the Leica SL2 for my portraiture work, which is a phenomenal camera. It is so clean, incredibly easy to use, minimalistic, and the quality of the lenses is almost unparalleled with anything else I've ever seen. But it did take me into film photography. And these Leica M6s are giving me more joy than any other camera has, other than maybe the Red. But that is a cinema camera, so very different. So, black or silver? Which one do you prefer? Let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.